Welcome back to another episode with Bantering with ByrdAdatto. We've done almost a dozen videos and webinars in the last few months on safety needs to protect your business and practice from COVID in your facility. But what happens when COVID gets into your facility? To address these issues, we have a mini series we've put together for y'all, and we're calling it COVID Questions from Our Clients. So today's question is, Michael?
Today's question, Brad and Renee, I hope you're ready, is what happens when an employee refuses to return to work for fear of COVID?
Well, generally, I would say the only time an employee is actually entitled to refuse to come to work is if they believe they're in imminent danger. And you would maybe see that crop up in relation to COVID if the employee is a healthcare worker, for instance, and has been given insufficient or no PPE, right? And they're working on a COVID-19 patient. That's an unusual situation right now. We're not seeing a lot of that. What is happening more generally is you have employees who have been out and they're fearful to come back to work for a variety of reasons, right? Either they are fearful of contracting the disease from their coworkers or patients. They may be caring for a sick individual at home and they don't want to expose that person. They may not have childcare right now, and so they're fearful to come back because they don't know what to do for childcare purposes. Or maybe they're living pretty off of some additional unemployment benefits and they really don't want to come back to work because they don't have to work right now. So the most important piece of advice I give clients is, number one, you want to engage in an interactive process with that employee. Have a conversation with them. Find out exactly what their fears are. Do they have a disability under ADA? Is it something that you need to accommodate? Do they have a sick family member at home that they're caring for? And if so, maybe that person can work remotely and telecommute versus coming into the office. So there's a variety of different reasons a person may be fearful to come back to work right now. We are in a pandemic situation, so there's a lot of reasons we can think of. But the most important thing is to find out what that reason is, and then that's your springboard to figure out the best way to accommodate that employee if you can. And then if that employee needs to remain maybe on furlough or on some type of paid or unpaid leave until such time they are ready to come back. Ultimately, there are situations where you may need to terminate that employee if it's too much of a hardship to have that person telecommute, or they cannot do their job from telecommuting and they have no time frame for when they want to return or can return. Then it may be a situation where you're keeping them on leave or terminating them. But really, you want to go through that interactive process to figure out the best way to accommodate that employee.
That's great. Good advice. Yeah. I mean, so many of our clients are small businesses and they don't have all the labor and employment laws in place, but this is an unprecedented time. And I think that just the pandemic itself raises risk, and always a fan of good communication as a way to mitigate risk.
Exactly.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you again for joining us in this episode. And as you can see, there's a lot that happens with COVID when it unfortunately might get into your office or to your medical practice. So hopefully this gives you some guidelines and guidance as to how to respond. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you at the next episode. So thanks again for joining us.